Greetings, greetings, greetings to all my loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. I hope everybody's doing well today. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information is given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use or reproduction of this information without proper accreditation from where it came will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. Now, today we're going to talk about tests from God and the One, okay? Kind of like we're talking about the birds and the bees, but not really. So, the first thing I want to say is that I see a lot of people, and I can't even really, say a lot of people. I did that one time as well also. But a lot of people of late are jumping into these soul contracts, these literal physical marriage contracts and relationships, with people quickly, only to end up, heartbroken and worse off than they were to begin with afterwards. And that's because, guys, love takes time. Love takes time. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care what anybody says. If you do not learn how to properly love yourself, know your worth, and set healthy boundaries and never settle or lower the bar so that people bring you down, you will never truly find the person that is for you. The fact that you have the yearning to be in a relationship with somebody, that right there already says that yes, you are supposed to be in a relationship with somebody. That does not mean, though, that you should continue to chase after love. Remember, we don't chase. We don't chase. We attract. And if you chase after love, you will always literally be chasing after love. The best way to truly attract love, and although I'm single, y'all don't come for me, all right? Because I've had some loves in my life. I've been in relationships. I know how to get a man. I'm single by choice. But what I'm going to tell you is that the more that you chase after something, that's basically you saying that you don't feel as though you are worthy enough. You don't feel as though you're good enough to naturally bring those things to you, to naturally attract or draw what it is that your heart truly desires to you. And so therefore, you're putting out that energy. And people, they'll come across you, especially manipulative people, especially people who, they have a big ego to stroke, because they know that you so desire and yearn those specific or particular feelings from them. They will make you work harder. They will make you chase them. Okay, they will go out of their way to keep you on your toes, to keep you proving yourself to them. And first of all, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you shouldn't have to prove yourself to anybody. The proof should be in the pudding. Period. Period. The proof should be in the pudding. You can't sell yourself to somebody. It's either they fucking with you or they not. And you can always tell if somebody's really fucking with you, not by what they mouth say, not by the flowery letters that they write you, especially if they locked up, ladies. Actions always speak louder than words, especially when it is pertaining to love. Everybody has their different love languages, yes. But there is also one universal love language that everybody shares, whether it's on purpose or inadvertently, and that is actions. That is actions. Your actions will always tell. Even if somebody is not an overly sensitive, overly emotional, overly expressive person, you will see that it will appear as though they take that extra step when it's concerning you. They'll go out their way for you. They'll make an exception for you without you even having to ask. Okay? They'll go get something to eat. Even if you said you weren't hungry, before they take that first bite, they're going to pause like, baby, you sure you don't want some? That man love you, sis. And I'm not talking about the nigga you just met last night, okay? Shit. I'm going to tell you, though, right now, especially pertains to relationships, If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. I'm going to tell you, a lot of us get caught up in the honeymoon phase of a relationship. Hell, everybody's guilty for that. I'm guilty for that. I love me a good honeymoon phase in a relationship. But however, you have to be a realist. While you're enjoying those initial contacts, while you're enjoying that person, the newness of that person, the newness of the relationship, how fun it is, make sure you're paying attention to the little things. Because at the end of the day, what makes or breaks a relationship is the little things. It's always the little things that count. Those little things are what we call red flags. That's what we call red flags. All right? Don't ignore those red flags. I know at the beginning, yeah, those red flags, they look like Six Flags. And who don't love a good ride? Can I get an amen? But you got to think about this when you get off that ride. What's it going to be like? Once it's time for the ride to get some maintenance, what's it going to be like? The ride malfunctions, what's it going to be like? You have to think about that. Sometimes we can't just go with the flow with certain things because, especially when it comes to love and relationships like that, those are the tests. That is the test from God. A true leveling up. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, that's a test from God. God will test you with someone who feeds your ego before he blesses you with someone who feeds your soul. And what kind of food do we like the most? Exactly, soul food. Whether it's in the 3D or up, we love us some soul food. I don't care who you are, right? Don't you want your soul fed? The same way that you want somebody to be the one so bad, which is why you are doing everything to try to feed their soul and make them feel good and make them know that they're worthy. Don't you want the same thing for yourself? If you keep pouring into somebody else's cup and they're not reciprocating, guess what's going to happen, ma'am or sir? Exactly. Their cup will run over and you will be empty. Ain't no fun when only somebody got a full cup and the other person don't. It's no fun. They're going to go find somebody else who has a full cup too so that they could party together, so they could be full and turn up together, and it's not going to be you. It's not going to be you. Stop selling yourself short. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but we need to be real. Stop settling, okay? Stop ignoring red flags. Know your worth. Raise your value, okay? A lot of us, well, I can't even say a lot of us. A lot of you guys have an issue with being alone. Sometimes God will force you, spirit, source, universe, divine, will force you into seasons where you need to be alone, because that is the time where you really need to figure out what exactly it is that you want for yourself, right? Even if you have to write it down, even if you have to keep telling yourself until you memorize it, okay, to remind yourself of your worth. There's going to be that time where you're going to need to be in solitude. Because in order to truly know who you are and what you deserve, you first have to be alone and go within. You have to do the necessary work. You have to do the necessary healing work, okay? Us spiritual people, we call it shadow work. It might not be fun, but it's just like going through the fire and coming out like a phoenix. You will be all the better for it. And once you have worked on all of that, then you'll be able to instantly spot the people who have no good intentions towards you up front, to spare you a broken heart, to spare you time wasted, to spare you from investing into barren soil, planting seeds in barren soil. That's not what we want. We don't want to do that anymore, okay? Because then that ends up getting you all depressed. Woe is me. Nobody loves me. Well, I'm here to tell you, you got to love yourself first. Okay, once you love yourself first, that shit starts just coming out like a Care Bear and people see it, all right? And it's going to blind and intimidate the people who don't have that love, or they're going to try to come and destroy it. But the other people who have that love, it's going to attract them. But you have to have that discernment, right? A true leveling up in a relationship is not about just advancing the relationship title, but it's also about the ability to peacefully and positively grow, either separately or together, while providing balance and mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual fulfillment to and for each other. Okay? Which means even while you're in a relationship, there's going to be times where you guys are going to have to take some time to yourselves. You can't be all up under each other's ass 24/7. That's how come so many relationships that have the potential to go far, they fizzle out and die early on, because life is constantly about growth. It's constantly about leveling up. It's constantly about healing. And as I said, in a healthy relationship, yes, you guys can grow spiritually, emotionally together, meditate and all that. But then there's times when you're going to have to go within. And you're going to have to be able to respect that. You're going to have to be able to understand that and not be selfish or insecure and start, having a million and one thoughts running through your head. Because that's going to show. And especially if you ask God to bless you with somebody who is spiritually evolved and on the right path, and then you come along and you don't understand that a part of the spirituality is taking time to yourself in order to level up, not just yourself, but also the relationship, and you start feeling away and you start imposing on that person's spiritual journey, you're going to get left. They're going to leave you, and you could potentially sabotage a good thing as well. Right? It's not just about, okay, we argue every week, but this last time when I told him that I'm going to leave him, he asked me to marry him. If somebody asks you to marry them during a time of crisis, or a time where you guys are teetering on thin ice, or a time when you guys are having high friction, or it's a very high climatic occurrence going on, it's not genuine, and it will not last. That relationship will not last. Okay? I'm going to tell you, they're just trying to do that. They're just taking that extra step in the relationship to keep you, to hold you, because they're not ready or they don't want to. But they don't want you to realize that, or realize your true worth and move on to something else. Right? And the same can be said for you as well if you are doing that to somebody else. Sometimes you have to realize sometimes that you are the toxic person in the relationship, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes you have to realize that the way that you go about smothering people in a relationship, wanting to be all up in under their ass early on, or trying to level the relationship before it's time, but before its natural growth cycle, sometimes that makes you toxic, sis. If things are not naturally evolving in a timely pace or fashion, then maybe you need to take a step back and see if it's you or the other person in the relationship. Have you been taking the time as well to evolve yourself? If you're not content with the relationship that you're in, and you feel like you guys are not balanced, you feel as though you're growing and they're still stagnant, have you tried to, okay, you spend your time doing your spiritual work, doing your shadow work. Have you tried to do it together with your person? Have you introduced your person to another level of peace, of finding themselves, of spirituality, so that they can grow as well? Not just with you, but separately as well. And a lot of times, spiritual people, they only want the people that they're with to know so much, because they don't want them to spiritually over-evolve past them. If that's the way that you feel, then that means that you know that you have work that you still need to do inside of yourself in order to evolve in a healthy relationship. You might need to take a break or something. All right? If you know that you're holding somebody back, maybe you guys need to take a break. Stop being selfish. Stop being selfish. You're inhibiting that other person's spiritual growth. Stop that, because you'll be punished for that. People get karma for that. That's what people are not realizing. You will get bad karma if you stay in a relationship that is not for your highest good. That is a test from God. Okay? If you continue to stay and he keeps showing you these blockages and these barriers, and this relationship is always a setback, you guys can never have peace but for maybe a week or two. And then after that, here goes some more drama. Here goes some more bullshit. Unchecked madness, whether it's from you guys or from outside sources that have the nerve to overstep your boundaries, either because your boundaries are not high enough, you don't have healthy boundaries, or you don't have any boundaries at all. That's not okay. Got to do better than that. Right? I'm going to tell you all the things that I told you about leveling up in a relationship and having that balance in all aspects. That is how you know that you have found the one, if you're able to do that. And I'm talking about real growth, guys. I'm not talking about, yeah, well, he was good for like 2 weeks before he fell off again. That's not real growth. Okay, yes, people do make mistakes. People do fall off. Your spiritual journey is like a roller coaster, just like life. It's going to go up and down. There's going to be times you're not going to be as on point in your spiritual hygiene and maintenance as other times. But what I'm talking about, you can tell when somebody is just doing something to shut you the fuck up or just to please you, right? Because it's not truly going to fulfill the relationship. You're always going to feel on the inside that something is not right, something is missing. Now, when that person is doing their part, when you both are pouring in, putting all your resources, and I'm not just talking about financial, you guys are steadily growing and evolving. Any hurdles or obstacles that come your way in your relationship, they are natural occurrences that end up teaching you guys something and you end up growing from it. That person, that's the one. Okay? Do not ignore the red flags. If the red flags that come up in a relationship, because I guarantee you, nobody's perfect. Everybody has, negative habits or little toxic things that they do that's just a part of their nature that they might not even realize. It might not even be negative or toxic to anybody else, but once they get with you, that shit's fucking annoying, right? And that in turn can blow up into something bigger, something that later on down the line of the relationship, you can't live with this shit no more. You don't ignore those red flags, right? If those red flags cannot be peacefully addressed with clear communication and or compromise on one or both parts, that is the main indicator that they are not the one. If you take that hint, you heed that little tip, that'll save you a lot of heartbreak in relationships. Because once that person starts showing those red flags, and when you bring them up to them, if they brush you off or they do good for like a week or two and then they lapse right back into the same shit that you told them you don't like, you cut their ass the fuck off early on in the relationship. Don't go having babies and getting married and shit. The fuck? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, many people stay in karmic or secular relationships. What I mean is like worldly, where there's no real substance. That's what I mean. When I say karmic or secular, I mean they stay in these worldly, shallow, surface level relationships where there's no depth in the relationship. If besides them going out to eat, watching movies, or talking about shit going on in either fucking their friends' businesses or on the internet or social media, they have nothing in common. They have nothing to talk about, okay? A lot of people stay in relationships like that because they're willing to sacrifice internal fulfillment for carnal or ego-based fulfillment, such as money, looks, status. So many people are in empty, unfulfilling relationships because of the things that relationship provides. But that right there is also a test. So are you trying to say that this person can provide for you better than God, better than source, better than the universe, better than you can? If you try and trust in the universe and your spirit guides and ancestors, you stupid. If you believe that, girl, you sick. You sick in the head. You are sick in the head if you believe that. I'm telling you, I'm going to be the first person to tell you if you believe that. And if that's what you've been doing, you have been selling yourself short. You have been selling yourself short. Because one day, all of those material things can go away. And what will you have? Nothing and heartbreak. Nothing, and you'll also feel empty on the inside. Wow, who wants that? That is also a spiritual test, as I said. Right? And most people also end up tying themselves to these type of relationships, which in turn end up blocking their soul's evolution. Sometimes it can only be for this lifetime, or sometimes it'll block that soul's evolution only for the duration of that relationship or a few others until they finally learn the lesson. But then other times you can do that and it can block your soul's evolution permanently because you don't know what that person is carrying with them, right? You don't know what else is going on up there. I'm telling you. And the way that it will block that soul's evolution is because it causes generational curses. You ever seen a family where all the women in the family end up being black widows, where their partner always dies, but it might not even necessarily be because the partner was just wicked, right? The partner could have just been unfulfilled and internalized everything, which in turn harbored illness. Right? In every relationship they get in, they might have the same toxic cycle where they always get with men who beat them, who are emotionally abusive, X, Y, and Z. That's a generational curse now. The things that you do physically, that shit embeds in your DNA. That's what you're not understanding. It's like little, they're typing away in your soul, right? Programs is downloading into your genetic codes. And that's how it becomes cycles. It transfers from soul to soul through generation and generation. You guys need to keep that in mind, right? It will form unhealthy soul ties as well. So those same toxic energies will follow you everywhere you go, into every relationship. You'll have the same shit, just a different toilet, basically, in every relationship. And I know all of y'all done been in that before you realize that you need it better. I know I have. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe it's me. I was like, maybe it's something I'm not seeing. Let me take a step back and see. And I had to start realizing that what I was settling for was not what I was asking God for. And I was ending up with these unhealthy soul ties, making it harder for me to walk away from people that I knew were no good for me. No matter how many times I gave them another chance. No matter how many times I had faith and prayed. No matter how many times I tried to show them through my actions, like, okay, maybe they'll learn from my example and follow suit. No. They might for a week or two, a month or two, get what they want to show you to fuck up. But then right after that, they're going to go right back to the same thing. And that is God testing you. He's saying, this is not it. And I'm not going to bless you with it until you realize that this is not it. And walk away and stay away from situations and people like this, or situations and people who carry the same energy. Because those are those soul ties. And those are also the STDs that they carry with them. The sexually transmitted demons. Those same toxic energies they transfer. Okay? Especially sexually. The more you're intimate with somebody who's not treating you right, the more those energies is going to hold you down. And you're not going to realize after a while that this is not it for you. You're going to become conditioned. Stuck in a cycle, always hurting on the inside. Who wants to feel like they're happy and peace and bliss in a relationship for like 2-3 months, and then the shit falls apart over and over and over and over again? Who? That's crazy. Many people will stay. Oh, and also too about the sexually transmitted demons. A lot of times that will cause people to stay in a relationship for years, the sex. Because those entities and energies that are attached to that person, right, makes the sex feel so dark, so good. You get attached to it. And that's really the only reason why you're staying. So you're not really going to get blessed with that person who can give you the good wood and the peace and emotional harmony that you deserve. Trust me, good people can give you good sex. Many people will stay in a relationship with someone they know is not healthy for them because they are focused on time invested, when in reality, time is an illusion. You sitting there talking about, oh, I put so much into this relationship. I've been with him so long. I don't want anybody else to have him. I made him better. I did this. I paid for his school and he's successful now. If I let go and I walk away, somebody else gonna have him, and I'll put all that into it. Sis, you should have been putting all that into you. You should never be in a relationship where you feel as though you don't want to walk away because you put so much into it. And that's the only thing that's keeping you there, is your investment. Imagine if you'd have put all of those investments into yourself. You should never invest more into somebody else than you do yourself. If you do, it's a problem, and they are not the one. They are not the one. It doesn't matter about time. Once you walk away from the relationships that are not giving you what you deserve and not emotionally fulfilling you, I don't give a fuck if y'all been together 25 years. Once you walk away, God will give you more time. God will give you more time. Especially if you've realized your worth and you finally attracted what you deserve. Note that I said attracted, not chased. What you deserve. Then God will give you all the time you need to cherish and enjoy what you truly deserve. And that's what we need to realize, y'all. That's what we need to realize. Signs that you are with someone who is not for you are a decline in health. If you was healthy as a horse and you get with this person, all of a sudden you got a cyst here, you got a tumor here, you're having female problems all the time. You never had female issues before, but now all of a sudden you always have female problems. Your coochie don't like him. It's not for him. It's not for him. Take it away. Take it back. Take that shit back. Okay? If all of a sudden now, you in this relationship and now you got high blood pressure, diabetes and stuff because he always want to feed you, he always want to spoil you, that man is trying to lower your vibration and keep you stuck. All right? Because you are what you eat. So watch what they feed you. If they're feeding you heavy things, carbs, fried food, fat stuff, fattening stuff, that's going to make your health decline. That's going to lower your vibration. That's going to calcify your pineal gland, i.e. your third eye, and you're not even going to see the bullshit that you in until it's too late. Until you on my 600-pound life. And he's sitting there, spending up your Social Security check. Cut it out. Another sign that you're with someone who is not for you will be you will start experiencing a lot of anxiety and other psychosomatic symptoms. You're going to become emotionally unbalanced. You was never a crazy bitch before you was with him. You was never stalking people before you was with him. You never played detective this hard. Never. Okay? All of a sudden you're paranoid about everything. All of a sudden your mind is not right. You can't think straight. You can't focus at work all the time. You always feel flooded with emotions. Okay, one minute you crying, one minute you all lovey-dovey. They're not for you. They're not for you. Right? Weight gain. Weight gain. Ding, ding, ding. Y'all want to be sitting here talking about this happy weight. Nah, sis. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. A happy relationship is going to have you looking healthier. Healthier. All right? So that weight gain is not going to be fat. If you gain happy weight, that means y'all going to be in the gym together, working out. Y'all going to be doing yoga. Y'all be yoga-ing together, stretching, all other types of things that's going to raise your vibration. You're not going to be looking like a sloth all of a sudden. You should not be 30 pounds heavier, wishing for the old you, reminiscing about the old you. Talk about, but this happy weight. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're probably also emotionally eating. Another sign you're with someone who is not for you will also be a decline in your self-care or self-love practices, because you're going to be so up under that person's ass, so into that person's ass, whether it is that you're busy feeding their ego or whether it is that you just so busy chasing after them, right? So busy chasing that love instead of attracting it. You're not going to be putting that time into yourself. Okay? I'm going to tell you, if you get in a relationship with somebody and you fall off, that person's not for you. I don't care. I don't care what nobody say. Comfort is one thing. Self-care and self-love practices is a total other thing. So you know what I mean. So hit horses, don't holler. Go exfoliate and put some edge control in your hair. Right? Because when you're being loved properly, it makes you want to love yourself more as well. When you're being loved properly, you're going to want to look good, not just for yourself, but for that person, because the way that they are going to express their love to you, especially once you set off those pleasure sensories, when they lay eyes on you, it's going to enhance your self-love and it's going to enhance your self-care. Letting yourself go, that's why they go cheat. They looking for somebody who looks like how you used to look when you got them. And the biggest sign, and I know from personal experience, the biggest sign that you are with someone who is not for you is that you'd rather help everyone else, be everywhere else, right? Spend the most time with everybody else than this loved one. Than be alone with this loved one for too long. Because eventually, you're going to start feeling bad. Eventually, you're going to see those red flags. You're going to start being unsettled. Eventually, you're going to have to take a good look around at your life. And you're going to have to really notice the comparison of how you always envisioned your life being and what it really is. The realities. You're going to be asking yourself, did I settle? That's how you know they're not the one. That's all I have to say, guys. I know that was a lot to unpack there. But now that we're unpacked and we're settled in, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos. And also, too, make sure you go ahead and check me out on Etsy at Empress Oracle Shop, where I have all kinds of custom-made, lovely healing crystals to aid you on your path to self-love and throughout every part of your spiritual journey for you or your loved ones. Be safe and have a wonderful day, and I love you all.